What's up, everybody? Once again, my name is Matt, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we got a new type of bomb, as well as some upgrades to our bomb bags. And in this episode, well, it's finally time to enter the next temple of the game. So, let's do it, boys. I'm excited. I hope you guys are too, because, well, this is essentially the water temple of the game. There are no ifs and or buts about it. But don't get me wrong, it's really not that difficult if you just really pay attention to everything that's going on. I've never really had an issue with water temples in Zelda games though, so maybe that's just me. Like, the water temple in Ocarina of Time and this temple, I think their difficulty is highly exaggerated. But if you do have trouble with this temple, it's probably not your fault, because it can be very confusing, especially if you overlook like the tiniest detail that you don't think is important. It might actually be important. But yes, this is the Lakebed temple. Now, starting things off, there are a couple red shoes, so you know what? Actually, let me take out some of my empty bottles real quick, because I'm pretty sure I mentioned this, but yeah, if you kill a red shoe and scoop it up, you can actually use it as a red potion, and if we drink this, it will replenish 8 hearts, so that's pretty cool. And, yeah, let me just fill up my second empty bottle real quick, and then we'll go and open up that chest. Like, I know you guys are looking at that chest, and you're like, I want to know what's inside. We'll find out in a second. Let me just scoop this bad boy up, and there we go. Not sure if I'll ever, like, use these potions, but I guess they're nice to have. Let me re-equip my water bombs, and we're gonna need bomb arrows as well, so might as well put those on. Alright, so let's open up this chest. Now, this temple is very considerate in what it gives you in these small chests. So we just got some arrows, and this small chest over here contains a couple of water bombs, both of which are items that we're going to be using a lot in this temple. So anytime you're low on resources, just look around for a small chest. 9 times out of 10, it'll contain something you need. Anyways, there is sort of a gate blocking our way, but check it out. There's a lever over here, so if we just jump at it, well, we can sort of like pull it down with our body weight, and it will open up the gate. So there's going to be a ton of switches like that throughout the main temple, but there we go. Now we can actually access sort of the, not main hub room of the temple, but the rest of the temple. Like, that was only the introduction room, if you will. So already you can tell there is going to be a lot going on in this place. Whoa, that's treacherous. Whoa, don't you think you ought to knock down those stalactites hanging off the ceiling first? They don't look to be very stable. I bet they'd break pretty easily if you hit them with enough force, don't you think? Sounds like a good idea. So of course, let's just equip our bomb arrows and shoot all of these stalactites down. You don't really need to shoot all of them down, but it's only 4 bomb arrows, and we can actually use one of the platforms to reach a chest. And holy crap, just slid right off that thing. Holy! Alright, camera, game, calm down for a moment, alright? Just take a chill pill. You alright? Okay. Now, there are some new enemies in this room, but we're kind of going to ignore them since we don't really have the preferred method of dealing with them. Like, we could still kill them, but it would just take a lot more effort on my part, so it's easier just to ignore them. There's a chest up here, so let's open up this bad boy real quick, and we got ourselves some more water bombs. Very nice. Not like we need them right now, but we will need them later, so it's nice to have them on hand. But there's really nothing else to do in this room, so let's just move on through. Now, this is a very interesting room, and it sort of like gives you a nice idea of the scale of this temple. It's a lot bigger than the other ones, but yeah, so this room, there's several different like bridges that lead to different doors that bring you to different sections of the temple, and obviously there's 2 levels, so there's a lot of rooms to explore. There's also a new enemy. This is a Lizalfo. Not new to the Zelda series, but I think this is the first time we've seen it in this game. They're very easy to kill, so they're really not too much of a threat. Anyways, you're probably wondering what all those bridges connect back to. Well, they connect back to the central hub room of this temple, and this is where things get a little bit crazy. So, as you can see, there is a giant staircase in the center of this room that connects like the 2 floors, and that actually rotates. And on the 2 floors are a ton of doors that basically lead to every other area of the temple. And then of course there's a bunch of switches that will change the rotation of the staircase. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just ignore the switches, run down to the bottom floor, and then go right. like, I really don't have any specific tips for solving this temple, like, easily, so I'm just gonna try and, like, explain what I'm doing. But all the way to the right, we're gonna find ourselves a chest, and inside, well, guess what? There's 20 arrows. But more importantly, the reason why I came here is because the first switch that we want to pull is actually all the way on the right. Now, make sure you line yourself up just right, because I've had this happen before where, like, you go to hit a switch or jump to a switch, and you just completely miss it. But yeah, so pulling the switch will rotate the staircase. So now, we're going to go back up to the second floor, which is actually a different half that we couldn't get to before, and we're going to head left. Now, there's really nothing we can do on the left side just yet. There is a locked door that I kind of want to point out because it is important, so remember this location. We'll come back to this later, but the reason why I'm coming here now is because, well, check it out. Inside this pot is our friend. Phew! Free at last! Gracious, you're that nice fellow who helped me out the other day. How nice to see you again. Well, now that we've found each other again, let's stick together for a bit, I'll be right with you, so if you want to warp out, just let me know. So we reunited with Uku yet again. Alright, now that we got Uku, let's actually go all the way to the right. So again, you know, moving the staircase, went left to get Uku, and then going right now. So I think, like, going right after you move the staircase is pretty much what you want to do. But yeah, once you find this lever, this is the next one that you want to pull. Let me get rid of this Tektite real quick. And again, just be very careful, especially here since it's kind of like on an uneven surface. And there we go, pull the switch. Alright, sweet. So now what you want to do is travel down and go through the door in front of us. But before we do that, let's actually head off to the right again, because check it out, there's a chest over here, and this is very, very important. Make sure you grab this chest because it contains the dungeon map. And, like, if this is your first time playing the temple, or if you get lost, the map is insanely helpful for getting, like, unstuck. Anyways, let's just go through this door, and it's actually going to put us onto one of those bridges that I was talking about earlier. And again, there is just one of those enemies in here. I believe that is a Helmosaur, their official name, so just keep that in mind, I guess. Anyways, in this room, there's a lot of things you want to pay attention to, specifically, like, that gear and the platforms attached to it. We can't do anything right now, so instead, let's just head down this little cave area, and, well, there's a geyser in front of us blocking our path, so pull out your bomb arrows and look up. Bam, there you go, stalactite, shoot that down, and now you can cross over to these vines. I apologize if it seems like I'm being very obvious in the way that I'm commentating this temple, but a lot of you guys, at least from the comments, seemed like you had trouble with this temple, so I'm trying to be, like, very thorough and, make it obvious as to what you actually need to do to solve the puzzles. Again, just shoot down the stalactite, that way you can, make it land on top of the geyser, and you can use it as a platform to jump across. That way you can get to this chest, which contains something very important, a small key. Now, backtracking is something that plays a huge role in this temple, so if you don't know where to go next, try going back a little bit and looking for something that you've seen before. So, since we just got our first small key, the logical thing to look for would be a locked door. Well, we've actually already seen the locked door that we need to go through. It's the one that I showed off back in the main hub room. So what we're going to do is backtrack all the way there and unlock the door near where we found Uku. And I guess that's sort of what throws people off when they go to this temple for the first time, at least, because, you know, every time you get like a new small key or a new item in a temple, you usually just think, alright, cool, now I can go forward. You know, you don't really think to go backwards a couple of rooms to find out that you can go forward from there, because it doesn't really make too much sense, if you will. Like, I understand a lot of temples in Zelda actually have elements like that, but I think this temple does it more frequently, if you want to put it that way. Anyways, thankfully the staircase for us is actually in the right location already, so all we need to do is just travel to our left, and the locked door should be right over here. Fantastic it is. Thank goodness I was right. So let's just go through here now. And again, we're on one of those bridges that I was talking about, this time on the upper level. Alright, so let's just pass through here. The bridges really don't play too much of an important role. I just want to, like, point them out considering, you know, the game makes such a big deal of showing them to you. Now, this room is kind of interesting because there's only one enemy in here right now, and it really doesn't seem too important. Let's open up this chest and get ourselves some more water bombs. Very nice. But, the reason why this room sort of confuses people is because well, sort of you come in here and, yeah, both of the obvious exits are locked. But, well, you take your bomb arrows and look up. There's a couple of stalactites that you can shoot down. That one's really not too important, but the one near the wall is because we can actually use this to reach these vines. And these vines will allow us to access, you know, different areas of this room. So, again, just be very, very observant in this temple. So, like, even if you think you're stuck, just look around, up, down, left, right, you know, maybe you'll find something to help you get unstuck. But, once you get to, like, this wall, just stop here and come down real quick because there's a switch you're going to want to pull. And the reason why you want to pull this is because, well, guess what? It actually unlocks that gate. So now, we don't have to worry about, like, climbing the vines or anything like that anymore. Now, real quick, I'm actually going to take out my bomb arrows and blow up this rock. I'm not actually going to go down there just yet, just wanted to blow that up for later on instead. Let's go through this door, and, well, guess what? It's actually going to take us into the same room where we got our first small key. This is sort of like the second floor door. We're on top of that weird gear thing that I pointed out. Also, let's just kill this Lizalfo real quick, because he's kind of in my way, and dang it, man, I kind of was hoping he was going to die. Ooh, careful, Link, do not fall down there. Alright, now that he's gone, let's just go through this door, and it's pretty much just going to take us to the other side of that room. The reason why we're coming here, though, is so we can open up this chest because, well, it contains a small key that we need to progress through this temple. But that's all we're doing in here right now, so ignore everything else, and let's just go back the way we came. I'm actually understanding now how confusing this temple can actually be because, you know, actually talking about it while you're explaining, you know, what to do is sort of making me realize that, you know, this temple is more confusing than I thought it was. Anyways, let's just ignore these guys and go through this door. Now, what's weird is, like, this giant round room actually, like, connects back to the same place. Now, in here, we have a new type of enemy. This is a chew worm. It's a pretty cool enemy, I guess. It's kind of weird, though. All you need to do is actually just shoot it with a bomb arrow, and then you can actually go and kill, like, the worm part of it itself. It's a really weird enemy, honestly, but I don't know. It's kind of cool, I guess. Alright, so we're going to use that small key that we got to unlock this door, which sort of gives us access to the rest of this room. And from here, we're actually just going to jump down towards these vines. And, aw, man, I guess you can't actually, like, grab onto them from there. I thought you could, maybe, but nope. Looks like we're going to have to climb all the way up from the bottom. Thankfully, in this temple, we will actually get an item that allows us to sort of grip onto vines from far away, so maybe climbing them won't be so difficult in the future. Anyways, once you get over here, well, welcome to, like, the longest spiral, not staircase, I guess, but spiral, like, hill of your life. So I'm just gonna, like, roll up this to go a little bit faster. I apologize if the rolling is kind of annoying, but it is slightly faster than walking, so at least we'll, you know, get through this a little bit quicker. Ignore all the enemies up here, too, because they're really not anything too important. Alright, we made it. So let's open up this chest real quick, and we can get ourselves some bombs. Nothing too fancy, but I'll take them, I guess. The main reason why you want to come up here, though, is because, well, if you climb this ladder, check it out. There's a switch over here. Now, before I pull this, there is a chest right over there. We can't actually get that yet, but inside that chest is some rupees, so it's really nothing too important. And I believe if you want to actually get that, it does require quite a bit of backtracking. And dang it, man, freaking Tektite, like, right underneath me. Not even cool, man. Not even cool. You know what is cool, though? Now that the water is flowing, that, like, hill that we climbed up has now turned into the world's greatest water slide. And this is probably, like, the most fun you will have in this temple. Unless you, like, really just like water temples. I know some people actually do. Most people, not so much, though. I really don't like ice temples. Water temples aren't so bad, though. Anyway, so since we activated the water, like, this whole corridor has been flooded, and now we can access this middle area, which is good because, well, check it out. There is another switch that we can pull, which will open up this floodgate and pretty much send this water into the rest of the temple, more or less. So obviously some changes have happened. So what do you say we sort of backtrack, I guess, just a little bit to sort of see what's going on. Now, this is the room in which we actually got that small key. Now, as you can see, the water wheel is moving, and that water wheel is actually connected to the giant gear in this room. Those giant gears are connected to those platforms that I pointed out earlier. So we're actually just going to jump down here, and oh wow, I actually landed on this platform. That is good for us, because now, yeah, we can just jump straight to these platforms. Had I actually just jumped all the way down, I would have had to come over to these vines over here, climb up them, and then use this platform to jump onto these rotating ones. So that's kind of cool. Anyways, we're just gonna like wait on these platforms until we get all the way over to this first door. Now, there's like 2 doors on these like ledges that you can reach. We're gonna go in the first one first, just because, well, you kind of need to. We're going to ignore this door directly in front of me. We're actually going to come out of that a little bit later on, but if you go into it now, it's just going to lead to a dead end instead. Let's come down here because, well, the important thing is a chest, and it contains another small key. So now that we got this, well, we're pretty much done in this area, so let's exit and go back onto those moving platforms because, like I said, there are 2 doors on the ledges, and now that we have the small key, we can go through this next door. Like, we could have technically gone through it first, but as soon as we, like, enter this area, well, we're gonna get stuck. Well, we would have gotten stuck had we not have gotten the small key, but since we do have the small key, we're fine now. So, as you can see, there's a locked door, and down this hallway is actually nothing at all, so don't even bother going down there. Instead, let's just use our key to unlock this door. And this is pretty much going to take us directly to the mini-boss of this temple. And I do plan on fighting it in this first episode of the temple, because I know so far I've actually always done the mini-boss in the second, like, you know, half of the temple. But I'm going to make an exception here because, well, this is sort of where the temples start to get a little bit longer. And in an attempt to sort of, I don't know, make things move along a little bit quicker, I'm just going to take on the mini-boss in this first part. Plus, this mini-boss is really stinking easy, and actually, if I'm going to be completely honest, I like to end off the temples when we get back to, like, the main hub rooms, because oftentimes I'll, you know, turn off the game, and when you do that, it resets your position back out to, like, the beginning of this temple, and if, like, I stop now, I have to walk all the way back here. Anyways, some weird enemies have fallen from the ceiling. I think these guys are called Toad Polus or something like that. Now you're probably wondering where they actually fell from. Well, why don't we look up and dun dun dun, check it out. It is the mini boss. It's kind of cool that like they make you look up to see the mini boss, kind of like how in the Deku Tree and Ocarina of Time you had to look up and see Goma. So kind of like a cool little throwback to that. Alright, now this dude's name is the Deku Toad, and he has a bunch of the, Toad Poli eggs on his back. I'm just gonna call these guys tadpoles from now on, because that's kind of what they are. So at the beginning of this fight, what you're gonna want to do is take them out as quickly as you can. These guys will take off a chunk of your HP if you let them sit for too long, because they are kind of annoying. After you get rid of all of them, he's going to jump up in the air. And, yeah, by the way, you are going to need bomb arrows, so equip those real quick. When he comes crashing down, though, his tongue is his weak spot, so let's go and attack that real quick. And after he sort of puts that away, travel around to his backside, because he's going to try and, like, create more eggs, and you can use your bomb arrows to shoot those down. If you do that, it'll cause them to sort of, I guess, hatch early or whatever, and you have to, like, take out less of them. And then, of course, he gets mad as soon as you take out all of his, you know, tadpole eggs or whatever. And then, pretty much from this point on, the battle is just going to repeat itself. So, avoid him when he crashes down, and go and attack his tongue again. You do this, like, 3 times, and that should be really it. So, like I was saying, this mini-boss is kind of a joke, because as long as you do a good job of, like, shooting off all of his tadpole eggs, really, his only chance of attacking you is when he jumps up, and that is, like, ridiculously easy to avoid, and there he goes. Alright, so let's just dodge out of the way, and, oh wow, we can actually finish him off, so there we go. So long, pal. It would have been kind of cool if, like, the, targets on his cheek were his weak points, but, whatever. And check it out, he spit up a chest, so what do you say we open this and see what's inside? We're gonna get the item from this temple, the claw shot, which is essentially the hook shot of this game. It works pretty much the same way as you would expect it to. So we're going to need this to actually get out of here. So let's put that there. And where's the exit? There it is. Alright, sweet. So you've probably been seeing these weird targets all around the temple. And yes, they're for the claw shot. So we can just like hook onto them. And our weight will activate the switch, opening the gate. And now we can get out of here. Now, not like all of these, targets are switches. Some of them are just targets, but you can pretty much target onto those, enemies and vines and stuff like that with the claw shot. And actually, now that we have it, we can, take care of these guys. So, we can use the claw shot to steal their armor. And now they are completely, like, armorless, and we can just take them out with our sword, which makes them very, very easy to deal with, but it's still just easier to avoid those guys. Anyways, now that we have the claw shot, let's make our way... Actually, did not want to climb on those vines. But, yeah, let's make our way back to the main hub room. So check this out. We can actually claw shot directly to these vines, and since we sort of like hooked onto them halfway up, we don't even need to climb all the way from the bottom. So it's going to make like climbing vines a lot quicker. One of the reasons why I actually do love the claw shot. But let's make our way back to the hub room because, well, since we did activate the water, something in here has changed. So check this out. Water is flowing from up there, and it sort of raises the water level ever so slightly in here. We're going to find out what that does, though, in the next episode. So if you guys enjoyed this part, a like rating would be greatly appreciated. If you want to see more, consider subscribing. But once again, guys, my name is Matt. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.